Oh my God, she started the show on time. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie, and this is episode 180 of Cocktails in the War Room, believe it or not. Last week, we were on deployment in North Carolina. This week, I am back in the War Room, and believe it or not, so far, sober. Allow me to introduce you to my co-host, Wednesday the Goth Pug, just in case you are new to the show. And if you are, please let us know in the comments that you have never been here in the War Room with us before. And let us know where you're watching from so we can properly welcome you War Room family style. Wednesday has her own Instagram. She has been with me for almost every episode of Cocktails in the War Room. And I have to bribe her with treats. Sit down. Because otherwise she won't come in here in the War Room until mail call, which is when you guys spoil the shit out of her with packages, which is going to happen tonight. Because I haven't been in the War Room in a couple of weeks. And Wednesday wasn't on the show last week because I couldn't take her with me. And it's a little bit hard to get her to get on Skype with the lack of thumbs. What's up, Monica? Don is here. Christina, Stephen, Carol joining us. Tracy is here in the War Room. So is Thomas and Alicia, Annette, Keith. Ralph is here. Shannon, Alexis, Emil, Frank is here. Let's see. Elsa wants to know how Easter was. It was actually very mellow for me. I'll tell you why. I was on the air on the network actually on Sunday. And if you guys noticed in the War Room here last week, and if you were listening to my radio show the last week or so, I had the worst case of laryngitis that I have had in quite a long time, unless I went down. Good girl. I haven't gotten laryngitis that bad since the last firefighter auction for the Boston Firefighters Burn Foundation. I don't know if I'm developing pollen allergies. I got super paranoid because I was set to travel and took a COVID test. And then thankfully we got those at-home COVID tests because I really wanted to make sure going down to see the military ceremony that was happening in honor of my husband. There were a lot of people coming from out of town. I obviously didn't want to travel if I was sick. And so I was super careful. All the tests came back negative. And so I knew it wasn't COVID. I just couldn't figure out what the hell it was. I think I may be actually developing a pollen allergy, which can happen, I know, at any time, but I wasn't expecting it. It runs in the family. My mom gets them really bad. My sister gets them, but I never really dealt with major pollen allergies. But the last week and a half, it's been like my throat has just been strangled by a boa constrictor. And so I laid pretty low on Easter Sunday because I needed to get my voice back. And I figured, being in a room with a bunch of crazy family wasn't going to really rest my voice. So cheers to you guys, by the way. I'm doing a little vodka soda this week, and I thought I would do it in my bullet mug, which I absolutely love. I haven't busted this one out in a while, but check that out. With a clear beverage, you can really see the way the glass is molded around the bullet, which I just think is so badass. So cheers to you guys. What's up, Melissa? Jen, Ralph, Will is here. Jillian is joining us. Go to your Rite Aid. We can run your insurance. They may be able to pay for 8 tests with certain insurance every month. I don't need 8 tests a month. To be honest, I'm not really out all that often because MCHQ makes it pretty easy for me to stay put. Pardon Wednesday while she kicks the shit out of the pillows here in the couch and here in the War Room. Hey, what are you doing? Over here. Oh, what are you doing? Are you being a down? Ow, down. Sit up. Can I have you sit up? No, up. Really? You know what to do. Sit up. Sit. Paw. That's a hot. No, paw. Paw. No, you're kissing me. I know I screwed you up by asking for a paw and throwing the hot. Can I have a high five? Thank you. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, sit down. Good girl. Can I have your paw? Thank you. Can I have the other paw? No, I want the other one. Thank you so much. Okay. Those are all of your cookies for the show Wednesday. You've done your job. Good girl. Now just sit there and be cute. The ducking pillows, Monica says. Exactly. Wednesday says, Mom, can I have a drink of that, please? Thomas, seriously. She probably would. And her liver's like this big, so I don't think she should be drinking vodka. Donna wants to know how I ended up bowling with the family when they were here. I am sad to let my War Room family know that I have, I've lost the family bowling trophy. As many of you know, some of you may not know, but I've been dealing with a pretty massive shoulder issue for the last few months. It's called adhesive capsulitis, otherwise known as frozen shoulder syndrome. We've talked about it here in the War Room before. There are certain movements that are totally fine. There are other movements that are incredibly painful. And I was not aware that the final release of the bowling ball, as it rolled off my fingers and just slid down the bowling lane, would have been as painful as it was. And I realized that as I was rolling the first ball in the first string as the first bowler. For anybody that doesn't know, my husband and the kids and I, we have a bowling pin that serves as like a Stanley Cup of sorts. And when the four of us get together, which isn't often because, obviously my husband is stationed out of state. He is with the kids. I am up here. And so the four of us don't get together very often to be able to go bowling. And so when we do, it's kind of a big deal for us. And we go bowling, and this bowling pin serves as a bowling trophy. Pay no attention to Wednesday as she murders the ducky from Easter in the Easter egg. I told you she loves the crinkly toys. I'm not kidding. And so whoever wins in the family bowling, whenever we get a chance to bowl together, gets to keep possession of the bowling trophy. It gets to put their name on it and the date, and then gets to keep it until the next time the four of us get together to bowl. I have had possession of the bowling trophy for over a year. And I lost the bowling trophy. I bowled left-handed because I'm not a quitter, and I almost won left-handed. However, my husband was able to handedly beat me while I bowled left-handed. And so he right now is in possession of the bowling trophy, and his name is now on the trophy for the first time. So I feel like I need to apologize to you all because I feel like I've let you down because I no longer have the bowling trophy. But I will avenge that loss at some point. I was with my physical therapist yesterday. My arm is getting better, but I will tell you that in order for it to get better, I had to have the injection in my shoulder a few weeks ago. And now the physical therapy is all about stretching the shoulder out and kind of pushing the boundaries of where my shoulder wants to go. And that includes kind of stretching the muscles that haven't really moved a lot in that part of my shoulder for months. And so now the PT is really painful. So it's getting better slowly. I'm not feeling confident enough to get on my motorcycle or to go skydiving or to try bowling again. But there is noticeable improvement according to the physical therapist. She has been measuring the angle and the degrees of movement that are in my shoulder. And so it is getting better slowly, but it's just a slow, painful process. So I feel like I let you down, and I am hereby apologizing to the War Room family because I did in fact lose the family bowling trophy. So I'm really sorry. Put me in, coach. I can take him, he says. I just might take you up on that if the shoulder doesn't get any better. Just like the ball, all our minds are in the gutter. Knock it off, you guys. You know that. What's on your shirt, Jonathan wants to know. If you're new to the War Room, I like to change up the shirt every week to either show off my extensive collection of concert shirts or wear things for very specific reasons. So I will show you that my sweatshirt this week is a sweatshirt I earned handedly by competing and finishing one of the 4 Tough Rucks that I have finished over the years. So this is my Tough Ruck hoodie. I wore it because I want to congratulate everyone that completed the Tough Ruck on Saturday, powered by the Boston Marathon. If you don't know what the Tough Ruck is, it is the military version of the Boston Marathon. You can't carry a rucksack on the course of the marathon since the bombing in 2013. So the Tough Ruck now happens, instead of being on the course during the marathon, the weekend before, and it's 26.2 miles, certified by the BAA, and there are different weight categories and classes. I always competed in the military class with all of my military friends, which is a rucksack weighing at least 45 pounds, and also wearing combat boots. And the Tough Ruck was on Saturday. The weather was beautiful for all of the ruckers, and it's incredibly difficult. I also wanted to congratulate all of the Boston Marathon runners that ran the marathon yesterday. The 126th running of the Boston Marathon was yesterday. I want to congratulate all the runners that ran for charity. Yes, if you're an elite runner or if you are a seasoned runner, you can qualify for the marathon by running at a specific speed for your age group. But it's the runners like myself that are not seasoned runners that take the challenge of the Boston Marathon seriously, because not only do they have to train, but they also have to fundraise. And the last time the marathon was run on Marathon Monday, which is Patriots Day in Massachusetts, was in 2019 when I ran the marathon. So I have been fortunate enough to have the honor of competing in the Tough Ruck for 4 years, and also for running the Boston Marathon once. So I've done the distance 5 times. I can tell you from experience, I believe, in my experience, the Tough Ruck to be physically harder, but the marathon to be mentally harder. The Tough Ruck, physically, you're carrying all that weight. You're not in running shoes. You've got more clothes on. There are not as many spectators, and the weight really does affect you. The longer you get into the course, the more the weight affects you. Where it's different from the marathon is that normally the Tough Ruckers are with a team, and you're rucking, so you're walking. There are the hardos that run it, but you're on trails, you're on dirt, you're on pavement, you're on gravel, you're on grass. And so you're with other people, and so you're able to carry on conversations, and that kind of takes the pain away, and you're embracing the suck together. Running the marathon, you're wearing the best shoes, you're dressed completely appropriately, you don't have 45 or 50 pounds on your back, but running, even if you're part of a team, is a solo sport. And so for me, the mental difficulty of the marathon was being alone in my head. And that was really difficult for me because, as I discussed in last week's podcast episode with Ben Johnston from Biffy Clyro, running sucks. And your body's constantly trying to tell you to stop and tell you that nobody's shooting at you, nobody's chasing you with a hatchet, you're not going to die if you stop, like no one's going to hate you, and yet you continue to run even though your rational brain tells you not to. And so it's very different. Jen says, I teared up to see Martin Richards' brother who ran. So Henry Richard, if you're not familiar with the Richard family, all 5 of them were at the finish line of the marathon in 2013. 8-year-old Martin Richard was killed in the blast at the finish line. His mom lost vision in an eye. His father lost hearing in I believe, one of his ears. His sister lost a leg. Henry Richard, there's never been a lot of reports based on his physical injuries, but one can imagine as a 10-year-old bearing witness to what happened to not only his family, but everyone around. I'm sure his struggles have been monumental. And he's now 20 years old. He is in college. And there is a foundation in his late brother's name called the MR8 Foundation for Martin Richard, who was 8 years old when he died. And yesterday, Henry Richard ran the marathon and finished as part of Team MR8. And it was incredibly emotional to see him at the finish line of the marathon. And if you saw him at the end dedicating his run to his brother, I don't know how, if you have spent any time in Boston ever, even if you don't live here anymore, have ever attended the marathon, or just were privy to the news footage of the bombing back in 2013. Just an incredibly powerful moment to see his family there waiting for him at the finish and to see how they have recovered and thrived in the wake of unimaginable tragedy. And it was really powerful to see how the family has healed. Excuse me. Will says, I tried to drink 26 beers once. I'm telling you, having done the ruck and the marathon, I should have busted out my medal from the marathons, but they're all mounted in shadow boxes. Up until I built MCHQ, that room in the house was my gym. And it's where I trained for the tough ruck. It's where I trained for the marathon. And next to my treadmill, I had all of the medals mounted in shadow boxes with my numbers and photographs of me with my teams. And so all of the medals are kind of mounted. But around this time of year, there's a little part of my brain that's like, maybe you should. And then something else in my brain goes, nope, don't even think about it. So to all of the ruckers and all of the runners, you guys are amazing. It was so great to feel a little bit more normal today and this whole weekend and see you all running and rucking on the respective courses where you belong, on the weekend that you belong, rucking and running in. And it's just one more thing that makes us feel like we're getting back to normal, which is amazing. Mark says, I want some tips for doing it next year. Mark, are you talking about the tough ruck? I have tons of tips for you. Anybody that is a military veteran that has done any length of rucking will be able to tell you the importance of keeping your feet dry, of changing your socks, of glide sticks to keep friction down. There are a lot of tips. Producer Mike saying congratulations to Lucas Carr for finishing the marathon, pushing Matt Brown as well, which, yeah, Lucas Carr, Army Ranger. You may have seen a lot of old pictures in the AAF studio of the AAF banner that had all of the military emblems around it and was all signed. That was an AAF banner that we sent to Lucas and his Ranger team during their deployments, and they all signed it, mounted it for us, and sent it back. And we had it hanging in the hallways of AAF for years. So congratulations to Lucas, not only running the marathon, but also pushing Matt Brown the whole way, which just brings up a whole other level of badassery. I can't imagine when I got to the hills pushing another human being. And it just makes me think of, Team Hoyt and just the amazing and powerful and emotional scenes that have come out of the marathon year after year. Bring Slim Jims and nips, says Eric. As you can hear, I am still battling whatever this pollen business is, but Laura says she's an Athol. Love you too. That's Athol for anyone out of state that doesn't know what I'm talking about. All right, we got a lot to talk about. The first thing I want to do is show you some pictures of my trip. I wanted to show you this one first. This has been a long time coming. It's something I'm incredibly proud of. It's something that I was kind of doing on the DL until I knew that it was 100% going to go through. It's taken me a long time. Monday was my 24th anniversary on the air, believe it or not. And in 24 years, I have never been 100% in control of my name. Over the years, I've been under contract many different times, and it's difficult when you are starting your career early and you don't know better about taking care of legal things. And so when I finally started Bigfoot First Productions, launched the Mistress Carrie podcast, launched Cocktails in the War Room, I also started the process of trademarking my name. And it's been a long time coming. I hired a great trademark attorney. I've been navigating the government system. It's a lot of waiting. Doing it during COVID was not easy. But this week I received word that my trademark had been approved. That's a copy of the official certificate from the government, from the Patent and Trademark Office, and I now own the trademark to Mistress Carrie, which I am super excited about. Since I took this photo, I've had the certificate framed, and you'll be happy to know that it is hanging up in MCHQ, and it's something that I am super excited about. And it feels really good after all these years. I think people assume that when you, use a radio name like Mistress Carrie, that you are in control of it. And it's something that isn't always easy when you are under contract to be able to do something like that. And so I had to wait to have all of my contracts voided when I got laid off. And now that all of that stuff has kind of gone by the wayside and I've moved on with my career, I can tell you that the trademark is in, and I am just so excited about it to just know that I finally, for good or bad, whatever my name is worth, whatever it's going to be worth in the future, it might be worth nothing. But there's something about having something that you created, being in control of yourself. And that's where I feel this week. And so I wanted to show you guys a picture. I also wanted to show you these. If you follow the Muppets on social media, the Muppets have partnered with Lego. And they are releasing these Lego mini figurines. There's a bunch of them. They weren't supposed to be released until May, but the kids were able to get their hands on a few of them early. And I wanted to show them to you. So these are now in MCHQ as well. There's 12 of them in total. Waldorf and Statler are in there. Dr. Bunsen Honeydew is there. Beaker is in there. Let's see who else is in there. There's a bunch of other ones. Janice is in there, but these are the 3 that I got so far, and I love them, and the kids got them for me, which makes them even more special. So they are now proudly displayed in MCHQ. I also wanted to show you this memorial that I went to. It's called the New River Aviation Memorial at the New River Air Station in North Carolina. It's a memorial. It's amazing. There are obviously decommissioned aircraft all the way through it. So I took pictures in front of some of them. Part of the reason why I went to North Carolina was to go to a ceremony for my husband taking over at his new job. I couldn't really take a lot of pictures of the actual ceremony or even where the ceremony was held because it's in a compound within a compound and photos aren't really allowed. However, there were some other photographs that I was allowed to take, and I really wanted to go to this aviation memorial because I've driven by it a few times and I had never stopped. And you guys know how much I love military aircraft. And my husband thought he was funny and got a picture of me taking this picture. So I wanted to put that in there for you. Some of the other reasons why I went down, I went to the retirement ceremony of the Marine that my husband took over for. So it's called a post and relief ceremony for the person that is leaving. And then he retired the next day and had a beautiful ceremony for that. So not only was I able to go to my husband's ceremony, the next day I went to the retirement ceremony of the Sergeant Major he relieved. And then the day after that, I was actually able to go to the graduation ceremony for the Marine Sniper School, which was an amazing thing to see as well. So there were a lot of ceremonies that I went to, and so I had to be dressed a little conservatively, which explains why I was wearing what I was wearing and my little wedge shoes and my little sweater top and whatever. One of the things that I wanted to go to this museum for, this memorial, was this picture right here, which is a Marine Osprey. And it is just like the aircraft that crashed that had Captain Ross Reynolds from Leominster as the pilot. And their airship was called Ghost 31. And that is the memorial that is at the New River Aviation Memorial in honor of the 4 crew members that crashed on that Osprey in Norway doing NATO training. And I wanted to take this picture and bring it back home because here in Massachusetts, we all saw how Captain Reynolds was welcomed home. We saw in his hometown of Leominster the dignity and the respect that was shown to not only Captain Reynolds, but to his wife and his parents and his family. But I thought it was really important to show everyone at home the way that they're paying tribute, just one of the many ways that they're paying tribute to them in North Carolina, where they were based out of. And so I thought it was a really beautiful memorial. And so I wanted to share that with you. So those are just some of the pictures from my trip. Michael Voorhees says Waldorf and Statler were my favorite. Jillian says I need to get those for my daughter. So they come in these little packs. You don't know which Legos you're going to get until you open them. That's how they get you. Because then you might get duplicates trying to complete your whole set. So let's see. So I wanted to show you those. I also wanted to recap last week's podcast episode. I wasn't able to really go over the podcast a lot last week because we were on deployment. I was at a bar, and by the time the show started, I was out with a bunch of Marines and I was half drunk already. So I apologize that last week's show wasn't up to par, but the fact that I started the show on time, got through most of the show unscathed, that was a win in my book. So episode 97 of the Mistress Carrie podcast featured Ben Johnston from Biffy Clyro, who, if you haven't checked them out by now, are a Scottish rock band. They're a three-piece. Ben is a twin. We talked about that in the episode. His twin brother is the bass player in the band, and then the lead singer is the guitar player. And they're going to be in town tomorrow night at Big Night Live. Dead Poets Society, who has been previously on the podcast, is going to be opening up. That's one of the bands that I've had on the podcast that actually formed at Berklee College of Music. So it's kind of a hometown show for them tomorrow night. So if you're not doing anything, if you're looking for something to do tomorrow night on 420, you can go and see Biffy Clyro and Dead Poets Society. But Ben Johnston is someone I've never met before. In all of my radio career, I had never met the guys from Biffy Clyro before, and we hit it off right off the bat. He's a runner as well, so we talked a lot about running, the marathon. I thought it was really interesting to hear his perspective on the COVID lockdown. And while we've heard from a lot of artists talk about how they really leaned into their instruments and how they became super creative at home, how they spent a lot more time with their families and their kids, I thought it was really brave of Ben to talk about the depression that he slipped in because of it, that not being able to play live shows made him not want to play drums at all, even though he had his drum kit set up at home, and how he really kind of lost this lust for life, which feeds into the discussions that we have had for years since this all started now about the mental health crisis of the isolation of COVID. And so I thought it was really brave that Ben was so willing to talk about that and how it affected him so negatively to not be able to be with his band, especially his brother, his twin, but also to not be able to go and tour and play the music that he loves. Michael says, I thought it was incredible you were able to pull off the show with all the supporting graphics and such from a bar down south. I was very impressed. Thank you very much. What bar were you at? I was at the Carolina Ale House. They have this outdoor patio. It's covered, but it's all open to the air. And they have really good fried cheese curds, which I have because my husband is from a place that makes a lot of cheese originally. So we wanted to go there. Welcome to the War Room, Jonathan says. James joining us. What's up, James? First-time watcher. Used to be a longtime radio listener, originally from Fitchburg. James, thanks for joining us here on the War Room every Tuesday night at 8:30. You can meet us right here. Alicia says, I finally am seeing Shinedown front and center on the rail in mine and Brent's hometown of Knoxville. It's my dream come true. I loved your interviews with him in the War Room. I hope he comes back soon. You guys have such a good chemistry. Well, Shinedown is going to be in Massachusetts coming up in September on tour with Jelly Roll. But they were just in Portland last night, and the reviews were unbelievable. I actually had a friend of mine text me and say, I've seen Shinedown a bunch of times. This is the best I've heard Brent's voice. They were absolutely incredible. And I really do believe that Shinedown is trying to take things to the next level with this new record, with the production on this tour. I feel like they are primed and ready to kind of take the next step. And they really want to be like a next level band. And they're stepping it up in every way possible. Songwriting, production, performance, all of it. Monica says, welcome, James. Welcome to the Roar Room. Ted says, are you making an appearance on Saturday the 30th at the DCU? Ted, Mike Shue and I are hosting the big gig. We'll talk about that more coming up in a few minutes. Dana says he got hit by pyro. That happens a lot. Look at James Hetfield, got hit by the pyro in Montreal when they were on the co-headlining tour with Guns N' Roses. It's incredibly dangerous on those stages when you've got that level of pyro on the stage. Melissa says, I saw the show at Mohegan on Saturday. They were amazeballs. They got their star on the Walk of Fame at Mohegan this past weekend as well. I saw that, producer Mike. They put up a video thanking Mohegan for giving them their star on the Walk of Fame down there, which is awesome. Jane says, I saw Shinedown on Saturday. The sound and the lighting was terrible, she says. That is shocking that you didn't think it was good. Ash says that it was amazing on Saturday at Mohegan. So was at Mohegan Saturday night. It was awesome, says Denise. Got a pic of it after the show, says Melissa. Saturday show is unbelievable, says Steven. I think it depends a lot on where you stand, which is why if you go back to an earlier episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast from earlier this year, there's an episode with front of house engineer Frank Scambolone. And part of the reason why I like to have these episodes about the people behind the scenes is to kind of give you guys an idea of what it takes to pull off these shows. And I thought interviewing the sound engineer that is out in the crowd mixing the sound was a really interesting perspective, because one of the things that Frank talked about was the difficulty in making certain venues sound good, especially sporting arenas and venues, because they're not necessarily designed for acoustics. They're designed for sight lines on the floor, which is where the sporting event is happening, which is why the old Boston Garden sounded like shit. When they built the new garden, they at least took the concert part of it into account, even though they were building the venue for the ice and the parquet. And so that's why when you go into some of these old theaters like the Orpheum Theater or a lot of those old turn-of-the-century beautiful theaters, those were built for the acoustics of the performance on the stage. And a lot of times the concerts just sound way better in there. Photographer Rob is in there, said he photographed the show both up in Maine and in Connecticut, and both were awesome. It does not surprise me that you were there. I bump into photographer Rob all the time, and his photography is amazing. Rob, put the link up to your photography website in the comments so people can go and check out your photography website if you have all your stuff online. Jane also says the Pretty Reckless sounded great. So right now they're on tour with the Pretty Reckless in Diamante. Then they're going to change over and go out on the Planet Zero World Tour, and that is going to feature Jelly Roll, and that is coming to the Xfinity Center in September. So I really hope that you guys loved episode 97 of the podcast featuring Ben Johnston from Biffy Clyro. If you haven't listened to the band yet, I encourage you to do it. They're such amazing guys. I think the band is great. They are massive in Europe, but they are one of these bands that is just huge in Europe, headlining 100,000 person festivals, and they are still 20 years later just getting known in the United States. So if you haven't checked them out yet, please do so. I also want to make sure that you guys are aware that there was a bonus episode of the podcast released this week. I released it on Sunday because when I'm traveling, it's hard for me to do the sit rep. And so I wanted to release a bonus episode over the weekend because I didn't release sit reps for the latter part of last week because I was traveling. If you missed it, the guitar player from Skid Row, Dave the Snake Sabo, was my guest on the bonus episode. Skid Row right now is opening up for the Scorpions at their residency in Vegas. They are also getting ready to go out on the Long Live Rock tour with Winger and Warrant. That's going to be at the Lynn Auditorium coming up September 15th. The details on that show and the Biffy Clyro show tomorrow night at Big Night Live with Dead Poet Society are up on mistresscarrie.com, which is where you can always get all your concert information for shows in New England. But obviously, if there's shows scheduled in New England, that means that if you're watching Cocktails in the War Room from outside of New England, you know the bands are on tour and they're probably coming to a town near you. So if you have not listened to the bonus episode yet, Dave the Snake Sabo, who is a childhood friend of John Bon Jovi, which kind of is how Skid Row got signed in the first place, he's a diehard Yankees fan. So there was definitely some smack talking. But we were also talking about the challenges and the benefits of doing a residency in Vegas, that you don't have to travel, but then you're stuck in Vegas trying to be healthy and sober, which can be difficult at times. So we were joking about that. And we talked a lot about, and he was very candid about the fact that Skid Row is never going to get back together with Sebastian Bach. He did talk a lot about the upcoming new record and their new lead singer, Eric, who, by the way, is unbelievable. So if you subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast or follow the podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, I encourage you to do that, because bonus episodes are coming out unexpectedly. And you're not going to know they're there, and you're not going to get alerted unless you're following and subscribing to the podcast. So if you haven't listened to the bonus episode, please do so. That came out on Sunday. And I want to let you know who is on the podcast this week. Episode 98 of the Mistress Carrie podcast was originally going to be another one of these behind the scenes interviews. He has been a longtime friend of mine, Chad Brandolini from Vader Percussion. Now, there are a lot of musician-based businesses, musical instrument-based businesses in Massachusetts. Zildjian Cymbals is another example. Vader Percussion is they were originally a drumstick company. And now they make all kinds of percussion mallets, drumsticks, drumming accessories. And I've known Chad Brandolini, who is the director of artist relations for Vader Percussion. I've known him for over 20 years. We actually talked a little bit about when we met in this week's episode. I wanted to bring it up, first of all, because what you may not know is Vader Percussion is one of the companies that sponsored my trips to Iraq and Afghanistan. And those trips were, 15 years ago, 10 years ago now. And when companies and advertisers and sponsors and friends support you in something that is your lifeblood, something that you take so much pride in, you never forget it. And when I called Vader to ask if they wanted to be involved with those trips, they said 100% yes. And I never forgot that. And I see Chad often when there's tours. What Chad does is he works directly with drummers to design drumsticks, percussion instruments, mallets, different things to help those drummers sound exactly the way they want to sound, to play exactly the way they want to play. If you go back and listen to the Zildjian cymbal episode, it's the same kind of thing where the drummer has a vision and an idea in their head about how they want to sound. And then they need these instrument manufacturers and accessory manufacturers to partner with them to make it happen. Chad was like, well, not only do I want to talk to you, but I would also like to bring a drummer that plays Vader sticks and mallets into the discussion so you can hear their perspective. So what was originally going to be an interview with Chad Brandolini from Vader also turned into an interview with Mike Wengren from Disturbed, who plays Vader drumsticks. And about halfway through this episode, he jumps into the conversation to talk about designing his drumsticks and the process of designing his drumsticks and why he designed them the way that he did. He talked a lot about the drummers that inspired him to play drums in the first place, the music that inspired him to want to play. And so this episode is a little behind the scenes, and it's a little bit in front of the scenes as well, in front of the stage behind the drum kit. And I think this is going to be a really interesting episode for you guys, much like the Guitar Gods episode that we did with 3 different guitar players all kind of chiming in about their own styles. Chad Brandolini is a drummer in his own right, but to hear about how he works with drummers and to hear his side of the job. We talked a lot about the different style of the kinds of wood that they make drumsticks out of. And then to hear the perspective from Mikey Wengren from Disturbed is a pretty interesting episode, and I'm super excited about it. So this is episode 98 of the Mistress Carrie podcast that goes live at midnight tonight. I have got the next 3 to 4 episodes lined up. The guest on episode 100 is badass. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, but there are some really, really good episodes coming. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you know who some of these guests are, and they're awesome. So I'm really excited for some of the upcoming episodes of the podcast, and I can't wait for you guys to hear this one. So episode 98, featuring Chad Brandolini from Vader Percussion and Mike Wengren from Disturbed, goes live at midnight. It was really funny because if you go and see Disturbed now because they play The Sound of Silence, and Mike tours with timpanis, like a symphony now, and he needs timpani mallets, which is something that we talk about in the episode because Chad Brandolini never expected that Mikey Wengren was going to need timpani mallets going out on tour with Disturbed, which he does now. So super excited for you guys to hear the episode. Goes live at midnight. If you subscribe and follow the Mistress Carrie podcast, you get the weekly episodes. You get the bonus episodes that come out unannounced. When we have a guest, like we did a couple of weeks ago, like Lydia's Castle, we also post the interviews audio up as an after action report on the podcast as well. So if you missed the interview, you weren't able to join us in the war room, but you want to listen to the interview maybe while you're driving, we put them up as after action reports as well. And you also get the sit reps that come out every Monday through Friday that run down all of your music headlines, industry info, all of that stuff in less than 5 minutes every weekday. And if you subscribe, you can get the podcast in any number of outlets for the podcast. There are a ton of places. Basically, any place you listen to podcasts, you can find the Mistress Carrie podcast. Just look for this artwork. And you can also listen to the episodes on my Facebook page. If you are looking on Facebook on mobile, the players pop up automatically. Or you can always just go to mistresscarrie.com and click the player of whatever episode you want to listen to, and they work just like that. We are still holding strong at 130 countries, and Canada is still number 2 in listening, and I'm sure the Neil Sanderson episode from 3 Days Grace of him on a snowmobile tapping maple trees helped the listenership in Canada big time. All right, we got a lot to get through, and I'm beating the shit out of my voice, so I want to run down a lot of music headlines. We talked about it last week a little bit. Five Finger Death Punch is coming with Megadeth, The Who, and Fire from the Gods. They are going on the road together nationwide, stopping at the Xfinity Center in Mansfield, Massachusetts on September 18th. Those tickets are on sale right now. Evanescence and Korn will be there on August 26th. Those tickets are on sale. Hailstorm, who toured with Evanescence over the winter. The Pretty Reckless, who right now are out on the road with Shinedown. Also, The Warning and Lilith Czar. They are all going to be together at the Leaderbank Pavilion on July 19th. Those tickets are on sale. Collective Soul and Switchfoot are going to be at Indian Ranch on August 6th. Those tickets are on sale. We've been spending a lot of time talking about Shinedown with Jelly Roll and John Harvey. They're going to be at the Xfinity on September 13th. Those tickets are on sale. Weird Al and Emo Phillips are playing everywhere in New England. The latest show they announced is at Indian Ranch, but all of the dates in New England are listed on the concert and events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Alice in Chains, Breaking Benjamin, and Bush will be at the Xfinity on October 8th. Those are on sale. Tickets are on sale to see The Offspring at the House of Blues coming up next month on May 15th. Ann Wilson, who's getting ready to release her solo album, Fierce Bliss, that she talked to me about on the podcast. She is going to be at Indian Ranch on July 23rd. Dorothy, Gifts from the Holy Ghost. That new album is coming out on Friday. This is all the stuff that's coming out this week. Primus has the EP coming out called Conspiranoid. That is coming out on Friday. Kirk Hammett from Metallica has got an EP coming out called Portals on Saturday, April 23rd, which, by the way, happens to be Record Store Day. And there are a ton of releases, exclusive vinyl reissues, limited edition colored vinyls, collectibles. There's a lot of stuff coming out on Saturday. Go to the calendar. All the list of all of the releases is there. find a locally owned independent brick and mortar record store and go and support them on Record Store Day. That includes Joe's Albums on Main Street in Worcester, because Joe knows everything about vinyl, everything about records, and his record store is amazing. And it's a great place to go for Record Store Day. We also talked about it last week that Shinedown has delayed the release of Planet Zero. That was supposed to come out this Friday. They've delayed the release because the physical copies of the album aren't ready yet, meaning CDs. I don't know if they're doing cassettes or not, but a lot of the collectible vinyl is not done, and they don't want to release the record digitally unless you can also get the physical copies. So they've pushed back Planet Zero to be released in July. So be on the lookout for that. The new Hailstorm, Back from the Dead, is coming out in just a couple weeks on May 6th. So there's a lot of great new music that's coming out. The Knotfest Roadshow with Cypress Hill, which, by the way, the Cypress Hill documentary on Showtime debuts tomorrow on 4/20. Is anyone here in the War Room surprised by that? No, I didn't think so. But the Knotfest Roadshow with Cypress Hill is going to be in Providence at the Dunkin' Donuts Center on May 21st and at the SNHU Arena in Manchester on May 22nd. Tickets may still be available for both of those shows, but I know they were getting pretty close to selling out. Speaking of shows, Breaking Benjamin, Seether, and Starset, along with Lacey Sturm, are going to be at the SNHU Arena on Friday. I have tickets to give away here in the War Room tonight. I'm going to tell you how to win them in a few minutes. But that show is happening Friday night. Also, Pussifer is going to be at the House of Blues in Boston on June 28th. And Joe Satriani, who was just on the podcast a few weeks ago, is going to be at the Orpheum on November 5th. Details, by the way, all the shows on the website, in the calendar. Royal Blood is going to be at the House of Blues on May 24th. Ringo Starr and his all-star band just kicked off their tour, and they have got a bunch of dates in June lined up around New England. ZZ Top is going to be at the Leaderbank Pavilion on July 22nd, which is the same day that their live album, Raw, is coming out as well, that was recorded in 2019, featuring the late, great Dusty Hill, by the way. Extreme, who's opening up for Aerosmith at Fenway, is going to be at Indian Ranch on September 2nd. The Red Hot Chili Peppers are going to be at Fenway on September 10th. And the aforementioned Aerosmith date at Fenway is on September 8th. Flogging Molly and the Interrupters will be at the Leaderbank Pavilion on July 1st. Dorothy is going to be at the Paradise tomorrow night. So if you are looking for something to do tomorrow night and you don't want to go and see Biffy Clyro, you can go to the Paradise and go and see Dorothy. Turnstile is going to be at the Palladium May 21st. Rob Zombie, Mudvayne, Powerman 5000, and Static X will be at the Xfinity Center on July 30th. And the Stadium Tour, featuring Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison, and Joan Jett, is going to be at Fenway August 5th and 6th. So I told you guys, it's the craziest concert year ever. Also, the Black Crowes getting back together. Even though they're being sued by Steve Gorman, their former drummer, they're going to be at Tanglewood on June 29th. Blondie and the Damned are going to be at the Leaderbank Pavilion on August 14th. Apocalyptica and Lacuna Coil will be at Big Night Live coming up on May 3rd. And Candlebox Unplugged will be at the Cabot Theater in Beverly, Massachusetts on May 6th. So, this doesn't even scratch the surface of the shows, by the way. Just keep your eyes on the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com because I am always updating it and always putting all of the information up there. Speaking of shows, I told you guys that I had tickets to give away, and I do. I don't have a ton, but I have tickets that I want to offer up to members of the War Room family. So, Friday night, at the SNHU Arena in Manchester, Breaking Benjamin, Seether, Starset, and Lacey Sturm will be there. And I do have some tickets to give away. So what you need to do is you need to go to mistresscarrie.com right now, open another window while you're watching this, click the contact button, and in the subject, put Breaking Benjamin. And what I need you to do is send me your name and your email address, and I need you to do it now because this is on a first come, first serve basis. While the tickets that I have last, get your messages into mistresscarrie.com right away. And if I have tickets for you, which I'm going to take them first come as soon as I get the messages in the website, when I get out of here in the War Room, I'm going to go downstairs and start filling ticket requests. While the tickets last, I am going to send you a pair of tickets in the email address that you give to me. So go to mistresscarrie.com, click the contact button, send me a message with the subject Breaking Benjamin, and send me your full name and your email address. And you could win Breaking Benjamin tickets to see him with Starset Seether and Lacey Sturm. The show is this Friday night in Manchester, New Hampshire at the SNHU Arena. Every once in a while, I want to take care of you guys. It's not just the people with the backstage passes that get the free tickets. Sometimes I have tickets for the War Room too. But having a backstage pass doesn't hurt. Want to remind you guys that the big gig is coming up next Saturday night. Godsmack, 3 Days Grace, Black Veil Brides, Wage War, and Lilith Czar. There may still be some tickets available, but if you have big gig tickets from 2 years ago, they are going to be honored at the DCU Center, and Mike Chu and I are going to be there to be the master and mistress of ceremonies, and it's going to be an absolute blast. I also want to let you guys know that I will be set up with a Mistress Carrie booth in the lobby of the big gig, where you'll be able to get Mistress Carrie merch, in person, and you can also come by and say hi. We can take pictures, as long as I'm not running around introducing the bands and doing whatever else I'm supposed to be doing with Mike Shue. So I definitely will be around. So come looking for me in the lobby of the DCU Center. I also want to remind you about the 4th annual 100 FM The Pike Hair Fest, which is where Mike Shue and I are now on the air. And the Hair Fest is happening at Indian Ranch in Webster, coming up on July 30th. It's a blast. 5 tribute bands. If you're a fan of Van Halen, if you're a fan of Poison, if you're a fan of Ozzy, if you're a fan of Motley Crue, if you're a fan of Def Leppard, you're going to have a blast. The music starts at noon. There's so much spandex, so many mullet wigs and retro concert shirts. We're all going to be there. It's so much fun. The next day, the Pike is also presenting Tesla at Indian Ranch. And tickets for all of these are on sale and listed on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Mail call. I got some mail this week. All right, so the first one I want to open, I already opened this in the box. Did not want to behave. I didn't open the card. I just opened the box. Card. Hi. Says Carrie, Wednesday, and family. Today seemed like a good day to say hi. Peace, love, rock and roll. Catch you on the flip side. Love, Melissa. Says, sending you some Easter treats for you. Sorry, Wednesday. And I know how much you love colored vinyl. Here is Prince's Purple Rain on purple vinyl. What? Oh my God. Should I open it? I'm not one of those people that saves everything in the plastic. I open all my stuff because I want to use it and love it, which is why I don't have any of my collectible Star Wars figurines from the 70s that would probably pay off my mortgage now, because I played with them and I ripped the arms off and they got blown up by fireworks and lost in mud puddles. Oh my God. I love the colored vinyl, especially when it's purple. It's not my birthday. Hold on. The vinyl sleeve. Look at that. Are you ready? Look at this. Oh, it's so beautiful. You can't see it the way I can see it, but it's super translucent and it's got marbling of different shades of purple. Oh my God, this is amazing. It's unbelievable. Look at how beautiful it is. Ah! Purple Rain on purple vinyl. I'm dead. No, I don't have it yet. But I absolutely love it. Oh, so good. And now, do I frame it or do I play it? Or both? So awesome. Thank you. She also sent me a chocolate bunny, which, by the way, was a tradition with me growing up that we got the chocolate bunny. And there are certain bunnies, Dove, not one of them, that are hollow. Can we talk about the hollow chocolate bunnies for a second? It's a ripoff. If you're a kid and you get a chocolate bunny for Easter, that bunny should be solid. You should have to gnaw on it and grind down your teeth like a dog with a rawhide bone. It's false advertising in my head to get a chocolate bunny in a giant box and have it not weigh anything because the bunny is hollow. So chocolate companies, if you're going to make a chocolate bunny, make it solid, like this one, so that you can bite the face off. This is what I always do first. Bite the face. In the face. Friggin' delicious. Thank you, Melissa. I love you. The other box I got. Ooh. I got chocolate on my arm. I'm so excited. This one had my name on it. It says, Carrie, enclosed in this box is a little gift for the birthday girl Wednesday and a few things for you. In the container are some biscotti. They are homemade. My 86-year-old mother makes a batch almost daily. In a previous War Room session, you mentioned the Anise cookies that you make at Christmas. You brought back memories. I wanted to send these to you to help with all of your stress. Homemade. These are not the Anise cookies that I make. We grew up in my family's bakery calling these Anise Toast. The smell, I can't even begin to tell you. I'm salivating already because the smell. Now, I am not a black licorice fan. My husband does not appreciate Anise cookies because he says they're black licorice. But these, with a cup of coffee, forget about it. Oh my God. They're so good. I can't wait. I didn't want to open them until the War Room. I cannot wait to have this with my coffee tomorrow. Oh my God. Your 86-year-old mother who makes these daily should be selling these and paying your mortgage with the money. Because it's delicious. Now, they get made, a little side note, they get made in a row, right? And then you cut them, then you got to turn them on their sides, and then you got to toast them in the oven. If you don't toast them, they're cakey. They're also delicious that way. These are fucking delicious. Thank you. Thank you, Mother. To say a famous Massachusetts quote, say hi to your mother for me. Okay, continuing on. I'm sorry to hear about your dad, as I lost my father unexpected, but expected. In February, these cookies helped my family get through the evening of his passing, and I hope you enjoy them. As far as the water bottle, I had to have it and was hoping to meet you in person to give it to you. It reminds me of you and your love of purple. Enjoy the cookies. See you in the War Room, Denise. Thank you, Denise. So, hell yeah. I will use this, especially when I fly, because I always friggin' forget to bring a water bottle with me because now all the airports have the little filling stations now. This is awesome. And then there's a birthday gift for Wednesday. Because she's the most spoiled dog in the world. Bar none. This says, keep off. It just shows how well pugs follow the rules. Happy birthday, Wednesday. Bad decisions make great stories. Happy birthday, Denise. Yeah. This literally could be my dog. Because she's a little shit. I'm going to open her birthday present. Because as we've discussed many times here in the War Room, she has no thumbs. Oh my God. Are you shitting me? This is a crinkle. And it's got these, first thought, nipples? Or does it have spiky vaginas on it? Are these spiky vaginas? What are these? There's something wrong with my brain that I instantly see an innocent dog toy. Look at how big it is. And think it has spiky vaginas on his chest. Yes, the lemon ones are also delicious, Mike. But there's something about those anise cookies like, oh. Michael, good night. Listen to this. Wednesday is going to lose her shit. Oh my God, this is amazing. Hello, I have vaginas on my chest. I really think I've lost it over the last 180 episodes of The War Room. I really think that's what's happened. Thank you, guys. Oh my God, I can't wait to eat those cookies for breakfast. Okay. I haven't eaten dinner. Tuesdays are busy. All right. Want to let you guys know the tank tops are done. I'm going to visit T-shirt Brian this week to pick them up. By this weekend, the T-shirts will be available in the store at mistresscarrie.com. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you will know before anybody. And you can also expect a discount coupon code to get posted where you'll be able to buy the tank tops first and at a discount. So you can also get Mistress Carrie merch at Joe's Albums. So if you're going there for Record Store Day on Saturday, keep your eyes out for Mistress Carrie merch. But the tank tops are done. They're getting picked up this week. They'll be on the website by the weekend. Super excited. Okay. Happy birthday today to Eddie Kramer, Alan Price, and Suge Knight. However, I also wanted to put this up. Yeah, that's right. Happy unbirthday, Keith. Not this week, bitches. Keith's real birthday is Thursday. So you can happy non-unbirthday Keith, because while today is his unbirthday, he gets a non-unbirthday message on Thursday because it's actually Keith's birthday. So Keith, to all of you, from all of us, happy non-unbirthday this Thursday. Happy unbirthday today, but happy non-unbirthday on Thursday. Let's see. Happy non-unbirthday, Keith. If you're wondering about a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, this is the info you need. Backstage Passes give you exclusive live stream access every month that we get together like we do at the War Room, but it's a little more intimate. You get a little more of the behind the scenes working of everything, and you're able to ask a lot more questions. And we do that towards the end of every month. And that happens on YouTube privately, but it happens on YouTube. You also get to submit podcast interview questions. You get travel blog updates. So while I was in North Carolina, the people with Backstage Passes were getting kind of behind the scenes stuff and finding out what it is that I was doing every day. You get access to a lot of free concert tickets. Shows that you have access to with a Backstage Pass right now include Pussifer, Breaking Benjamin, Royal Blood, the Knotfest Roadshow, and Rob Zombie tickets. But there are going to be more tickets up for grabs. If you have a Backstage Pass, you get access to them. You also get early access to event tickets. You get exclusive concert ticket giveaways. And like I mentioned just a couple minutes ago, you also get discount codes for shopping in the online store. And you will get a discount code by the weekend that is going to give you discounted tank tops in the store. So if you don't have a Backstage Pass, you can get one by going to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie or by clicking the Patreon link at mistresscarrie.com. Here are all the places you can find me and growing. I've started putting up podcast interview clips on my YouTube channel. They also get posted up on TikTok. We're slowly growing things. I am slowly starting to learn video editing for the interviews that allow me to record video. I eventually want to be able to bring those videos to you. And it might be something where I launch a pilot program where if you have a Backstage Pass, you can check out the videos first. But it's taking a lot longer than I anticipated because editing video is really hard. So there you go. My nephew's birthday too, says Shannon. Happy birthday Thursday. Wait. There's jelly. Oh! Melissa. Melissa's telling me to look for the jelly beans that were at the bottom of the box. Melissa, I opened them already. It was Easter yesterday. A day late. She sent me Dunkin' Donuts jelly beans because you guys know how much I love the coffee jelly beans. So, Melissa, I'm sorry. They're in the kitchen, in a bowl on my kitchen table because they're fucking delicious. Dunkin' Donuts coffee flavored jelly beans, if you can get your hands on them. Whew. So, Melissa, thank you for the jelly beans. I'm sorry that I forgot to thank you for the jelly beans. But when I opened the box to see what was in there, even though I didn't open everything and I didn't eat the chocolate bunny, I couldn't say no to the jelly beans. So, sorry. Of course I did. I'm only human. Yes, they're delicious, Heidi. Oh my God, they're so good. Amazon has them, Michelle says. Donna agrees with me. Yes, they are so good. They're friggin' delicious. If you like coffee, which I do, so much so that it's probably a problem. And you hear it in the interviews too. When I talked to Dave the Snake Stabble from Skid Row, we were drinking coffee. When I talked to Ben Johnston from Biffy Clyro, he was home in Scotland. So it was the middle of the afternoon, even though it was the morning here, we talked about coffee. I can't help it. Dina says Walmart had them. Yes, jelly beans. Jonathan, they're friggin' delicious. Duncan Bag of Dicks says Mohawk. Five Below had them? What? Leave a blunt out for Santa Shoe on 420 tonight. I know, right? That's why I think it's hilarious that the documentary about Cypress Hill is coming out tomorrow because tomorrow's 420. So it's also my sister's birthday. So I wanted to wish my sister, so I got to go away last week and my sister kind of pulled double duty with mom last week. This week, my sister has gone away on a little vacay for her birthday. And so I'm playing double duty with mom this week so my sister could go away and enjoy a little birthday vacation. So I was able, I'll put this plug in there. I was able to call in a little favor from a friend, Paul Mercurio, who's been on the podcast a couple times now, who's a stand-up comic and a writer for Stephen Colbert, was a good friend to me. And my sister is a huge fan of Stephen Colbert, and Paul Mercurio got me tickets for my sister to go to a filming of Stephen Colbert this week while she was on vacation in New York, and that was part of my birthday present for her. So to Paul Mercurio, you're a fucking rock star. Thank you. And to my sister, happy birthday tomorrow, and I hope you're having a wonderful trip in New York and enjoying some vacation because you 100% deserve it. And thank you for covering for me while I was away with the Hubs last week and the family. So that's how we got to do it. All right, guys. I think that's it. Got to go to bed, says Thomas. Exactly. I understand. It's been a long day. Fabulous birthday gift. Kathy, I agree. All right, guys. So don't forget episode 98 of the Mistress Carrie podcast featuring Chad Brandolini from Vader Percussion and Mike Wengren from Disturbed goes live at midnight. Check out the bonus episode with Dave the Snake Sabo, and that is up there now. It went live on Sunday. The Sit Rep is back this week. So if you're in the habit of listening to the Sit Rep, it has returned this week from my vacation. And that's it, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Get ready for the big gig next weekend. I'll be back next Tuesday night. And until then, I'm going to eat this chocolate bunny. And you know what I'm having for breakfast tomorrow? Anise cookies, because they're friggin' delicious. Good night, guys.